Support for the following program was provided in part by Creative Opus Designs, a creative combination of art and jewelry design. Musically Hot in the DMV is all about finding hot new musicians in the DMV and learning about their music and what they like in addition to their music. It is always great to find talented musicians and to learn more about them as a person as well as a musician. Every true fan wants to know as much about their favorite musicians as possible, as well as learn about new artists in the area. Musically Hot in the DMV gives you all that and more. My first guest is an R&B artist who was born in England and lived in numerous countries before settling down in Maryland. She has a soulful vibe reminiscent of Jill Scott that resonates with fans both young and old. Join me as I get to know more about Teisha Marie. She has a soulful vibe reminiscent of Jill Scott. Her fans love it, and so will you. Join me as we get to know more about Teisha Marie. So welcome to Teisha Marie.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about where you're from. I know you were born in England. So give me a little background.
Kind of from nowhere, if you will, but born in England, lived in Germany, lived some time in Virginia, spent some time in Jersey, and when my father was ready to retire from the Air Force, he pretty much moved to Alexandria, Virginia. We stayed there for about a year and then moved to Prince George's County, Maryland. So I've been there for the last, I guess you could say, 10 or so years. When it was time to go to college, I went to Atlanta, spent some time in Philadelphia for about a good 2 years, and then came back to this area. So all over, I guess. Not LA yet. Or New York yet.
It's I'm sure next, but
we'll see.
Yeah, you've been to, I can count the number of places I've been to on one hand, so that's interesting. So what was that like, moving around like that, and then now you're finally settled? Are you happy to be settled?
Yeah, but no. You know, like you always have that sense of where are we going to next? And now it's you going. You know, nobody's taking you. You got to make up your own mind to go. And I haven't felt led to go anywhere just yet, but it was fun. I can't say it wasn't anything. You know, you got a new set of friends everywhere you go. You learn a different language. You experience a different culture. So it's nothing but fun for me.
Wow, that's great. So were you classically trained in music growing up? So
I started violin when I was 9 in the public school system. Just took a violin. I actually wanted to play flute, but because I had braces and all that going on, I had to do violin. So I took up violin, and then I played piano before that, but I started playing by ear first. And my mother noticed, oh, you have something there. We're going to get you in some lessons. So I started taking lessons for that, and I continued that all the way up until college, after college. So I've been doing it a while.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you still play?
I do. And that's definitely going to be on the next album. And, I put some on my first project. The very first one I released was Addicted to Life, the EP. And I put some instrumentals in there as well.
Okay. And you write your own songs?
I do, as far as the words, arranging the background vocals, but I do a lot of collaborations with producers just because I just want fresh ideas, Sometimes you get sick of yourself,
Oh, yeah.
So it's good to get feedback from somebody else, and I enjoy that process.
Kind of keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
So what inspires you to write songs? What do you use as inspiration?
Anything.
So
really, it could be this conversation, your nails, it could be girl, I went to the hairdresser the other day, I know, and nobody spoke to me when I walked in, like little things that, you go through on a daily basis, sitting in traffic,
right.
Being irritated by your family, your friends, and just not feeling cared for. So life.
Now, do you write only for yourself? Do you write for any other musicians?
No, actually, I do write for other people. They haven't used it as of yet. Other artists, you can't mention them, as we're still going through the writings. But I've written some things for some other people, so you can look around and see for how that comes about. But definitely always open to writing for other people. I love writing. It's just something that I've always done.
Now, is that easier or harder when it's not for you? When it's not a personal?
You know what? It's easier. It really is, because you can get everything out there that you really, really, really want to say, and you don't have to care about how it comes across, using this word or that word. You can just present it, and usually, they run right with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're using a breakup as inspiration for a song, you have to worry about You don't necessarily want that person to know.
Yeah, that
Oh,
happened.
this song's about me. So at least when you're writing for someone else, you don't have to worry about that.
That's true, and that's what happened with the first album. Actually, some ex-boyfriends were like, "What's that song? Was that about me?" So it's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure. Some people get a little offended, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people get excited maybe to know that it's about them or to hope it's about them.
Yeah, that too.
It just depends on
like
the
Carly
person.
Simon. Yep. You wish it was about you.
And what about what are your inspiration? Who inspires you when your musical inspiration?
I would have to say it comes from a wide range of places. I mean, I love bands like Queen and Journey and Phil Collins, and then I love people like Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and Dizzy Gillespie, and then I love Donny Hathaway and Aretha Franklin. She's on my top, and Anita Baker, and Amel LaRue, and just a bunch of different places. So I'm always looking around. The only type of music I don't like is probably death metal.
Okay. And your sound is really distinctive.
Thanks.
Do you use that variety of interests? Those different.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different musicians that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use that to kind of create your sound? Is that where it came from? Just a combination?
Yeah, definitely. Like the Carpenters, I love them. And when I'm creating my background vocals, depending on the song, I'm thinking of them when I'm creating those background vocals. So I'm stacking all these different vocal parts to make it sound as thick as possible. Bobby McFerrin. So if I'm doing a certain vocal line, I'm trying my best to sound like him. I never will, but trying to get that in there, or trying to get the Beach Boy harmonies going, on a song or an intro. So it's definitely a part of it.
Okay. And your debut album was Addicted to Life. I'm sorry. Okay. And it came out in November of 2008. Tell me a little bit about that. What was the process for having that? For having the album.
It was a fun experience. I got to work with a bunch of different people, and I basically actually didn't even intend to put out the album. I didn't even intend to even create anything to release to other people. I wanted to actually sell the songs, but nobody was going to know who I was and trying to shop it. So I said, okay, I guess I have to put this out.
Right.
So I called on people, a lot of internet collaborations when MySpace was big. I was doing a lot of that, and people would just write and say, hey, we like what you got. Can we work with you? And it would go from there. I used some members from my band that played for me also, and we did some collaborating as well, and just created from there what I wanted. And it was a fun experience. It was definitely a labor of love, but I enjoyed every single moment of it.
Now, was that hot? Was it? I guess you really didn't have expectations, since you didn't.
I surely didn't.
Sell it.
No.
Put it out there.
No.
So it was kind of probably an easier process than when you're putting something out, knowing I'm expecting to get this out there.
Yeah. But it was just a learning process. I mean, getting band members together, deciding, okay, how long do I want the song to be? What do I really want to say in the song? Since it's my first one out, nobody's ever heard me before. And then when I put it out, it definitely got a lot of critical acclaim, international acclaim, which was a pleasant surprise, but it was just unexpected.
Everybody's got their own path. Let me tell you a little bit about mine. People say, girl, what you gonna do with yourself? Seems like you're always running here or there, and I say, I got one life and with my time, I can't do what works for everyone else. So I make sure to shine each day and embrace all that comes my way. And I know that I'll never be alone, 'cause as long as I've got music, I've always got a home. I'm addicted to life, the ups and downs and in between. Different people need different things, but everybody's looking for the truth. So I put the pen in my hand, and as a vessel, let the words flow through. I used to try to suppress the light that I had inside, because I was afraid of what I'd find. But one day, my words began to overflow. I started writing and decided to let it show, 'cause with life, you gotta move or be moved. down to in between. Different people need different things, but everybody's looking for the truth. So I put the pen in my hand, and as a vessel let the words flow through. I'm addicted to the life, the ups and downs and in between. Different people need different things, but everybody's looking for the truth. So I put the pen in my hand, and as a vessel let the words flow. I find myself with love, peace, and music. Love, an expression of an action. Peace, tranquility, be still and know. Rest when needing direction. Music, inspiration, therapy for the soul. I am indebted to the ancestors and the creator for this gift. I take my charge seriously and consider my purpose priceless. Therefore, use this offering as you will. I pray it motivates, strengthens, and heals. I'm addicted to the life, the ups and downs and in between. Different people need different things, but everybody's looking for the truth. So I put the pen in my hand, and as a vessel let the words flow through. I'm addicted to life, the ups and downs and in between. Different people need different things, everybody's looking for the truth. So I put the pen in my hand, and as a vessel let the words flow.
You're very poetic. Do you consider yourself a poet who sings or a singer who writes poetry?
That's an interesting question. I would have to say I'm probably a poet who sings. I wrote poetry before I even started writing songs, and when I was a child I used to have my little imaginary groups, and I would create songs, video treatments, choreography, all for this group. And so the songs kind of came along later, but I've always written poetry and always wanted to express where I was coming from.
Okay. And that's still a big part of your music?
Oh,
now?
definitely.
Still write poetry?
Yeah, I still write it, and it's kind of my trademark, and I'm deciding how I want to spin it for the next album. I put at least one spoken word piece on every project that I do. Okay. Yeah, because that's how I got started. Actually, before I even came out with a song, I came out with a spoken word piece first.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that been always kind of, so that's like your trademark, I guess?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, everyone comes with, like they'll do a certain cover on an album, and I guess that's mine unofficially.
Okay. And who are some of the other musicians you've worked with? Have you collaborated on other people's albums, or they've collaborated on your albums? Tell me a little bit.
I'm currently collaborating with a hip hop artist out of Toronto. His name is Subliminal, so I'm working on some things with him. So I do a lot of hip hop work.
Right.
It's just funny.
And do you like the collaboration?
I do, because I learned so much from just watching them, how they put together their rhymes, their ideas, and, it's a lot to be able to speak and say everything you want to say within 2 minutes, and you put together a whole album, watch out.
It's always nice when you see how hard it is, but it looks flawless when it's
done.
Yeah, that's how you know someone.
That's the true artistry. Yeah, and I just end up learning so much just how to put songs together, because I have a certain way of writing, and then I take on their style a little bit in terms of how they approach things. So it's kind of like iron sharpening iron.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've played in a lot of different venues, I guess, in the area. Now, have you played internationally or just, Not
internationally yet. Gearing up for that for this summer to do that. That's on my big list. But yeah, it's fun. The live, there's nothing like it, because you're getting the energy back. It's not like being in the studio where someone's on the other side of the booth saying, "Can we do that again?" Or you want to keep those vocals. There's actual live interaction. I really, really treasure that. So it's just fun. I mean, if I can leave you with you feeling like I'm gonna do it tonight, or I'm gonna feel better, or I'm gonna kick that guy out of my life, or I'm really going after that job I want, or I'm really seeking to better myself, and you feel that way after you leave my show, then I've done my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can new listeners expect to see? Do you have anything coming up soon?
I do. I have a show coming up on March 30th at the Potter's House, and that's myself and Quinice and A bunch of people. It's really honoring International Women's Day. It's
Okay.
March, is Women's History Month, so it's honoring women in song, and I'm going to be doing a couple covers and doing some of my stuff also. So it should be a lot of fun. And it's $7 for one person, and guess what? $10 for two.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we're trying to be budget conscious also.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it's the Potter House?
The Potter's House.
Potter's
Yep, and
House.
that's in
And where is
Adams
that?
Morgan.
Okay. Okay.
You can look it up on the website, or you can go to liberatedmuse.com and check it out there for more information.
Okay. And where can we find your music? Do you have a website?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I'm currently revamping the website. The website is teishmarie.com, and then I'm revamping that. So in the meantime, in between time, you can catch me on Facebook. You can catch me on Twitter if you want to get the music, and please do support. You can catch me on iTunes, Rhapsody, all the DigiMusic spots, CD Baby. You can find me there. And please say hey. I'm all about interaction. It's funny, I ran into someone in the store one time and said, "You're Teisha Marie." And I said, "Oh,
That must be kind of fun.
hi." Yeah, it was fun. But just don't be afraid to speak. I'm a real chill person, and I just want to connect with somebody.
Okay. Well, it was great getting to know you.
Thank
and
you.
Hopefully things will work out, for your upcoming show.
Thank
and
you.
your future projects, and maybe you can come back and join us.
Sure, I certainly will. I really will.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I really enjoyed getting to know more about Teisha Marie. Definitely check out her website for more information on her and her music.